Just like that, we're back with the midweek show. It's Views from Section 400. You know the deal. I'm Matt, here with Jack and Brian. We have a packed midweek show. I want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody, as it is Thanksgiving week. It's great holiday season. Let's get in the holiday spirit. Is it too early to play Christmas music? I don't know. But what's going on, guys? It's good to have you back on and rocking and rolling here. We got a packed show. But I don't know if you guys want to open it up, say anything that you guys have been up to, feeling. What's going on, Brian, Jack? Anything?
Go hug your mom. That's all I gotta say. Thanksgiving week, go hug your mom.
Yeah, it depends what day you're watching this, but if it's after Thanksgiving, yes, you are allowed to play Christmas music, but don't be playing any kind of that nonsense before.
Hot start. Anyway, like I said, we got a packed show here, so we're just going to dive right into it. 3 Thanksgiving games, and we get a Black Friday special. Jeff Bezos is not missing out on missing a Thursday night football game. He says, screw that. We'll call it Black Friday football. Throw the Amazon Prime theme on it, and he still gets to control a day of the week for the NFL. So they figured that out, and we'll kind of roll on. But before we jump into the NFL, we obviously want to cover a little college football here. The season is, we're in the final stretch. The Final Four's taking a shape, and we're finally seeing who might hoist the trophy in early January. I know we had a lot of who's a contender, who's not a contender, who's going to get snubbed. I'll just jump over to you, Jack, because I know you're a little bit of a big Florida State guy. And what's it? Jordan Travis done for the year. And I'm pretty sure, they said his college career is over because he's kind of just jumping out of that. But I'll let you take it away, man.
Yeah, the Knolls are just in shambles right now after an incredible start to the season, almost shoe in for the playoff after a potentially undefeated regular season record, go win your bowl game, there's no reason you can keep them out after that unless they don't have, their superstar quarterback at the helm. We all know how important it is to have a good quarterback in this game. It's the way that it goes. College, NFL doesn't make a difference. You need that starting quarterback who can really drive your team over the hump, especially when it comes playoff time. And, you only get 2 big games when it comes to that college football playoff. So I would not be surprised, even if the Knolls win their bowl game, win out undefeated record. I would not be surprised if that ACC team gets snubbed. I would hate to see it happen, but realistically, it definitely could. So even with Jordan Travis, they were sort of people were talking about, do they have the strength of schedule? Have they really proven themselves to get in? Now without him, I really can't blame those people.
Yeah, they're about to get snubbed by our Washington Huskies. The Section 400 future Washington Huskies are ranked number 4. They're in. They have done it. They're 16-point favorites this week, so they should be at least in there until the Pac-12 championship game, which is trending towards Bo Nix versus Michael Penix, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. I've been saying about that game how I think it's the de facto Heisman championship too, but this dude Jaden Daniels just scored 8 touchdowns against Georgia State. He's the new betting favorite to win the award. I mean, I think Brian Kelly just gave up on trying to win football games, and he just said, Jaden, take the wheel, and just stat bad. So I'm really interested to see how that whole race goes.
Yeah, I'm really not the biggest fan of Jaden Daniels. I don't think he's that good. I really don't. I mean, he's an incredible athlete. Don't get me wrong. The numbers that he's putting up are pretty insane. But when it comes down to it, I think he's a little soft. And I don't think that he's got, too much of a future ahead of him in the NFL or anything like that. So, he's going to try and take this Heisman to the bank and do as much as he can with it. That's what I think is going to happen.
Yeah, I see the same thing kind of rolling out. I don't know that he'll be amazing in the NFL. I don't know if he even has his sights on that. I know if you win the Heisman, you kind of have a path to at least getting drafted. But like you're kind of saying, I don't see him having a very strong NFL career, but who knows? That's why, analysts are wrong all the time, and he could make us eat our words. But just based on the way we've seen it and the way we've seen players play and all these guys either pan out or not pan out, It doesn't, if at least for me, I don't see him having, that much success in the NFL when everything gets a little bit quicker. You're not playing Georgia State on Saturday. You're playing 32 guys who are getting paid to play football. So on Sunday. So it's going to be a little tougher for him there. But kind of moving on, we'll run through the top teams right now. So we got Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, Washington, right? That's our top four.
Yep.
And then Florida State's still hovering there, but obviously now with the major injury, probably going to get snubbed. And then kind of on the outside looking in, we have Oregon, Texas, and Alabama, right? And Alabama still probably going to play Georgia in the SEC championship game. That'll be something to watch. Texas is lingering there on the outside. I know, a lot of people are going to be, rooting for them to get in. And then Oregon's going to have to take on Washington, where Washington already beat them, so it's always tough to beat a team twice in one season. And Washington barely won that game. I mean, it was a missed 30-yard field goal, which kind of lost them that game. And we'll see what happens. But you guys want to touch on maybe who might sneak in, because like I said, Bama has still got to play Georgia, and we have Ohio State, Michigan this upcoming weekend, so that's something to look out for as well. But Jack, I'll let you take it away, man. Is there something you're thinking about? A team sneaking in?
Yeah. So, how I see this shaking out, UGA is going to play Bama. UGA is going to win it. I see Ohio State and Michigan playing, obviously, and then I've got Ohio State winning that one. And then Washington and Oregon. It's going to be probably the best game in my opinion. I've got Washington, Session 400's got Washington. So those three I feel fairly confident about. And then from there, tough to put Bama in there after losing at the SEC championship. Tough to put Oregon in there if they lose to Washington. Even Michigan losing to Ohio State, that's probably your favorite to get into the 4 spot after that. But what about Texas? What about Texas? But so I think the top 4 right now is who's going to stay in there, and maybe some reordering.
Yeah, no, I think Texas probably has the easiest path to kind of sneak in. I know the Big 12 was pretty good in the beginning of the season, but Oklahoma's fallen off. TCU is just not very good. And then Kansas and Kansas State are like just mid again. So, yeah, Quinn Ewers back for Texas. They have not figured out how to close a game. For some reason, every game they try to choke it and have to pull away at the end. But they're definitely the favorite to probably sneak in there. Of course, I'm still definitely afraid that Alabama's going to not only win the Iron Bowl this weekend, but also beat Georgia. But then that opens up if Washington, if Texas, and if Bama all take care of business, do you leave Texas ahead of Bama there? And it looks like, at least from what the committee is saying so far, that they're going to. I know Texas had that win in Tuscaloosa early in the season. That might be all it'll take. But yeah, in terms of Florida State, they're 6-point dogs this week against Florida with the backup quarterback. I think their season's over. As good of a story they've been. It's just without Jordan Travis, they're cooked. But yeah, just kind of going into it, speaking of 2 quarterbacks that probably aren't going to be very good in the NFL, Ohio State and Michigan this weekend. At the Big House, Ohio State 3-point underdogs. Jack, I know you just said you like Ohio State. I like Michigan, so Matt, I'm interested to see you break the tie here. Who are you liking?
Yeah, so I think it's one of those where it's like 2 teams both obviously can win the football game. And I think in college, the home field just kind of means a lot more. So I would lean Michigan if I had to go, but obviously not surprised if if Ohio State wins the game. But I'd lean Michigan. Just I think they're rallying around the coach. I mean, what was it, the backup head coach or the assistant coach who was taking over? I mean, that guy was like crying after they won a game. So they're clearly very emotional, very driven. It's a pissed off team and it's a pissed off fan base, and that's what Ohio State's walking into. So if I had a lean, I would lean Michigan. That 3 in the hook really, really scares me. I don't know if I would be taking spreads, but Michigan money line, I'm sure you could probably get decent value on that. And I would lean Michigan money line only because they're the home team. and they got the pissed off players and the pissed off fan base. So that's the way I would lean, just kind of reading it. But yeah, I don't think that's a horrible play either, Jack, to like Ohio State, because they've obviously been extremely dynamic, and Marvin Harrison is the real deal. I mean, that's a guy who, as we see Caleb Williams fall off, is he a guy who goes number one in the NFL draft next year? Probably not. I would say no, but I mean, he's making a pretty strong case for it. But yeah, I mean, do you guys have any takes on if Marvin Harrison goes number one?
I think you're a little crazy for that take. I know Gus Johnson's with you. He likes to call him Maserati Marv.
Yeah,
But
look, I didn't say that's going to happen. I just said he's making a strong case for it.
yeah, he is. He's a great receiver, but I think a team would be absolutely insane and probably get the whole front office fired if they took Maserati Marv first round or first
Yeah.
overall.
As much as I like Marvin Harrison Jr. coming into the draft next year, it's not a good move to use a top, number one overall pick on a wide receiver. So I know a lot of people were pissed off during that draft time. They took Jamar Chase instead of Penei Sewell, who was, the all pro, left tackle that they were going to bring in there and finally protect Joe Burrow and not let him, tear his ACL again or whatever his injury was his rookie year. So, not totally responsible to use a top 5 pick on Marvin Harrison Jr. If a team does have that opportunity, it'd probably be best to trade it away, take a quarterback, take an edge rusher, the more prime positions. But, I wouldn't blame somebody for taking Maserati Marv in the top 3. Not one, but top 3.
You know what?
Is there
The Giants are probably going to take him at 4.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, is there a scenario where the Bears get the 1 and 2 pick and go Caleb Williams, Marvin Harrison, 1-2?
That DJ Moore and Justin Fields seems to be working out, as of late. Ever since Fields came back from his injury, they haven't been looking too bad. But yeah, I still think if I'm the Bears, I'm starting over. Give me Caleb Williams and Marvin if I have the opportunity to do so.
If you got 1-2 right there, I mean that seems like a pretty good way to jumpstart any organization. But yeah, no, it's something to look out for, obviously, because like I said, Marvin Harrison really making a strong case to be a very high pick in the NFL draft. But you guys are right. You got to pick Caleb Williams. He's got the most potential, and the quarterback. I mean, it's the most important position in the NFL. So, if you have a guy coming out who's getting comps to Patrick Mahomes, like Brian said, you're going to organizations are going to start firing front offices if you miss out on that pick. Even if it doesn't work out, you kind of just have to take it. So that's good stuff there. And I know we kind of ran through some of the games this weekend, but I want to leave it up to you guys as big Auburn fans. Obviously went to school there, so big Auburn or big Iron Bowl this weekend. It is at Auburn. I I don't see Alabama losing, but again, anything can happen. I know I was at one of the Iron Bowls with Ryan, and Auburn did win. I don't know if Alabama was that highly ranked when we went to that game, but yeah, I'll just kind of let you take it away, Brian.
Yeah, so I was excited for this game before last weekend. Auburn was looking good. They won 3 in a row, all in the SEC. Peyton Thorne actually looked competent at quarterback. They were running the ball well. And then they hosted New Mexico State, paid that football team to come into Jordan-Hare and give them a free win, and they lost 31-10. So I don't know how you go from that to beating Alabama. I mean, the Iron Bowl is kind of just a one-game season type of thing where anything can happen. But I'm not confident after watching that. I don't know how you feel about it, Jack, but
Brian, you took the words right out of my mouth. Was starting to finally feel good about Auburn football until this past weekend against New Mexico State. As I should have expected, right? It always comes crashing down. But I'm actually going to be at the Iron Bowl this weekend in Auburn, Alabama, cheering on my Tigers. I'm with Brian. I'm not feeling too faithful, but I will say I'm 2-0 in the Iron Bowls that I've been to in Jordan-Hare. So why not make it 3-0? Let's ruin Alabama's season. Go 3-0. Come on, War Eagle.
War damn.
We're damn, yeah. Like I kind of was saying, anything can happen down there, right? I mean, who knows? But Brian, I just want to touch on real quick. Didn't it say, and Jack, you might have been there too with Brian. Weren't you guys saying the atmosphere just wasn't as electric as it might have been in years past, and they kind of ruined the whole tailgate scene, and it just didn't have that feel? Again, I wasn't there. Maybe you guys can elaborate on that a little more. I don't know if you got some on that, Brian.
Yeah, it seems like COVID, at least. I mean, we might sound like old men here when we say when we were back in our day, tailgate
Right.
was something else. But I do think COVID took Auburn definitely took a hit when COVID arrived, and I think we're still recovering in terms of the tailgate scene. But who knows? I mean, big game coming up this Saturday. I know a lot of people from Tuscaloosa are going to be traveling, so a lot of people from Auburn better be there to kind of tell them to fuck off.
I'll be there, Brian. Don't you worry. But to Matt, to your point, and realistically to Brian's point, once COVID hit, and a lot of these schools, organizations, let's keep it within college football, but a lot of these schools took advantage of the fact that everyone was sort of locked down. There wasn't people partying on the on the lawns on campus. They could tell them you're not allowed to be here, and now they've sort of taken advantage of that and kept it going with some of the rules. And you're not allowed to tailgate in certain areas anymore. Certain areas you're not allowed to bring booze. It's like it's just it's too regulated. Let's just go back to popping shotguns at Louder Hall. You know what I mean? Come on, let's get after it.
It used to be open container on campus, and they got rid of it.
Yeah, I don't know why they're doing that. Is that a school? It's a school decision, right? That has nothing to do with the NCAA.
Yeah, it's up to
I
Auburn.
would think it's school by
Up
school.
to Auburn. So I don't know why they're trying to hurt their chances. I mean, when the crowd's rowdy and like you said, you're popping shotguns and right there, in the main lawn in the center of campus. That gets the people going, man. I mean, that it fires people up, and that really energizes just the whole day. To sticking to college, but moving to the hardwood, college basketball, all the preseason or before conference play tournaments are kind of ramping up this week. That's what it always is every year. Thanksgiving week, we get and I love it. I'm at work and seeing 11 o'clock in the morning. There's college action to get in on, and my betting juices just start flowing and tingling and the whole 9 yards. So it's really an exciting time of the year. Obviously, I got to work a bit tomorrow. I'm not sure when you guys will be watching this, but Thursday through Sunday, 4 days off. Can't wait to dive into all the different slates. It's really the best time of the year to be betting and to capitalize on value and stuff like that. We're not in the middle of summer where you just have baseball and being hammered at 4 a.m. betting on table tennis. You actually get a little bit more variety here. So can't wait for that. But yeah, jumping in, monster game tonight. Kansas Marquette, top 4 matchup. Two teams who will contend for number 1 seed come March. I'll just jump over to you, Brian. What do you got for that?
Yeah, so I had a write-up on Wednesday as we're recording this. As you're listening to this, we'll see if I was right or not. But these two teams are very similar. Kansas, of course, Hunter Dickinson. They're all kinds of talented. KJ Adams Jr. This team's really good. They're deserving of the number 1 seed for a reason. All the starters are averaging, either 10 points or 8+ assists. So, but then you look at Marquette and this kid, Tyler Kolek, the guard Cam Jones, they're very similar to Kansas in the fact all the starters are going to play. They're going to play a lot of minutes, and they're very talented. The issue in this game lies in the fact Kansas just has a little bit more talent in that starting lineup. And I think the similarity between these two teams, combined with the fact Kansas is just a little bit better, leads Kansas to win and cover the spread. I think they're the best team in the country. I agree with the AP poll. I think they're deserving of that number 1 seed, and that's why they're going to win this game. They're probably going to win the Maui Invitational, but I'm hoping we see them play Purdue on what would be Friday night.
Yeah,
Is
I'm
that
with you there, Brian. The Kansas is definitely, definitely my favorite to win it as of right now. They look like the best team in college basketball. I think they beat Marquette tonight. I think Purdue beats Tennessee tonight. So I think we might go. I know Purdue's actually 3-point dogs last I checked to Tennessee tonight, but I'm looking forward to seeing Kansas and Purdue face off in the Maui Invitational Championship. That they were my two number one and number two teams going into the preseason. So I'd like to see that matchup here and early in the season.
yeah, it's tough to bet against um Kansas, right? I mean, they're the best team in the country. They look unstoppable. I know they had a close game with Kentucky, but they're a team that's only going to get better as the year goes on. It's hard for me not to just take Kansas money line and shut the betting apps and watch the game. I wouldn't be surprised if Marquette covers that plus 4.5, loses on a game winning buzzer beater, because Marquette's good, and I think kind of what you pointed out to, Brian, Shaka Smart's a great tournament coach, and it is a neutral site, so something spicy can always happen, and like you said, that's out in Maui, right?
Yep. They're in
Yeah.
Honolulu because of the stuff going on in Maui, but
Okay, but yeah, same thing out in Hawaii. Anything can happen. That's like a high school gym out there, so that really should create a pretty dynamic atmosphere for that. But I guess kind of moving on. FAU did go down this past week. Like I was saying to Brian off the pod, thank God March Madness isn't in November. They have a full season conference play, and like I said, just a full season to really get into the swing of things. Not concerned whatsoever. That team will be roaring and ready to go come March. I had Kentucky spread for that one. It was like minus 14 and a half, needed them to win by 15. There was a point in the second half where there was like 10 minutes to go, and Kentucky kind of bursted out to a 10-point lead. And it looked like they were maybe going to pull away and cover that spread, but St. Joe's kept fighting. They got a lot of seniors on that team, a lot of experience. They got this one kid, I forget his name, but he's like 7 feet tall and was just really just giving the entire Kentucky team like nightmare on the glass all night. I mean, they couldn't get a rebound. There's so many second chance opportunities that killed Kentucky that St. Joe's capitalized on, and I think that's the sole reason why we saw them cover that spread, because there was a point in time where St. Joe's was literally just chucking up bricks, and I mean brick, like balls pinging off the back iron. That's how much of a brick it was. And this guy was just grabbing boards because he was 7 feet tall and just bigger than everybody else. So I think that was kind of the downfall for them, having to cover the spread. And it was a lot closer than they wanted it to be, obviously, if the game went to overtime. And remember, they were on their home court. So definitely need to figure some stuff out. But again, they're really young, right? I mean, Kentucky is like basically all freshmen. I'm not sure the exact stat, but at least DJ Wagner and Rob Dillingham are both freshmen. So obviously no experience, and then you go up against a bunch of seniors. It's tough, but yeah, I don't know. It's still too early to kind of make crazy calls. Well, I guess see this weekend as it rolls on. Villanova rebounded nicely and blew out Maryland by like 40 points, so that was nice to see. Glad they got a fire lit under their butt after that embarrassing loss to Penn, which I guess Penn's not that bad, but come on, dude. Kyle Neptune, figure it out. And that's all I got for that. But we'll roll into the pros. NBA in-season tournament action tonight on Tuesday. Obviously, we get that every Tuesday and Friday, which really just screws up the scheduling. I lost my fantasy basketball matchup last week because I didn't have players playing 2 days in a row because of the scheduling. So that was annoying. Thanks, Adam Silver, for that. But yeah, I mean, Brian, I'll let you kind of take it away. You're Mr. NBA over there. What have you been liking so far? What have you been hating? What do you got?
yeah, so before I get into our Baby Thunder that have been absolutely electric, no pun intended, I'll just go over what I've seen from the in-season tournament so far, which has actually been a great tournament. I know we kind of shed on it before it started. Still hate the courts, hate the jerseys, but the basketball has been really good. Sixers have a big game tonight, taking on the Cavs. That group is still up for grabs. I know the Pacers are 2-0. I was talking about how much I love the Pacers right now. Tyrese Halliburton for MVP chatter. But they just got blown out. They are struggling lately, so we'll see if they can hold on in that group. Other things in the East are about what you would expect. The Bucks are 2-0, Boston's 2-0. Our Miami Heat, Udonis Haslem's giving out all the high fives. Jimmy Butler's trying his ass off. They're 2-0. So those are the teams that'll probably be in the knockout stage from there. In the West, much of the same. It's, the Lakers, the Suns, Denver, and the Kings are kind of going to be your teams. The Timberwolves are still surprising. They're 2-0. Overall, they're 9-2, which they still have the best defense in the league. I don't know if that's going to hold up, but for now, it's been pretty impressive. Yeah, Houston 1-1 in the in-season tournament, but they've been great just with Fred VanVleet and all those young guys doing their thing. NBA's been fun this year. I will say that. I'm normally always a college basketball guy over the NBA. I still am a college basketball guy over the NBA, but this in-season tournament has made things interesting. It's made these players try more in the regular season. So, I mean, I'm at least paying attention before the playoffs. I don't know if the rest of the world is, but Adam Silver, at least you got a fan out of me. So, there you go.
Yeah,
Jack.
I think I said, again, in one of the group chats, the final, the final quarter, the last like 8 minutes of games have a playoff atmosphere now. So it's interesting to see. But Jack, you got anything you wanted to add in on that?
No, the usual suspects are there. From every conference, there's not nothing I'm too surprised about there. I will say I'm a Heat guy. I want the Heat to win it all, but we'll see.
Yeah, that will. I mean, they definitely got a shot, right? So
Heat culture.
Heat culture. There you go. Did Brian? You already jumped in on the Thunder?
Yeah, I mean, I said they were doing well. They're 10-4, which is good enough for third place in the West right now, which is honestly right where I think we want to be. Not peaking too early, but still up there towards the front. I mean, Shea is just going crazy. He's averaging 30 points a game, 5 assists. Chet Holmgren, he might challenge Victor for that Rookie of the Year award. He's averaging 17 points, 6 rebounds, adding a couple blocks a game.
Yeah.
Josh Giddey's getting his little Australian like half triple double, 12, 5, and 5 a game. That's what he's gonna do for you.
Yeah.
And then every player on this team basically that plays is averaging at least a steal and a block. So this team is fun. They're good on defense. They don't just score. I'm happy that we made this team our future. For this value, I think the value is only going to go down as the season progresses. So it was a
100%.
good job by us to lock that in.
Yeah, definitely. I think we got him at plus 8,500. So that was a pretty crazy odd. And then I think the other one I threw out there, but we weren't really too hot on it, was Pelicans. They had some crazy odds, but and they were off to a red hot start, right? I mean, they got their big three: Zion, Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum, who were looking dynamic together, and a couple nice role players. But obviously, CJ McCollum collapsed lung, kind of derailed the beginning of their season. They will get him back at some point, since the injury was so early. And, I think the reports are saying, he's having positive healing in his recovery process. So it should come back sooner rather than later. So a team to look out for. And Zion looks good. And, Brandon Ingram. Smokes 3 blunts before the game and just comes out and lights the world on fire. So good for him, dude. Good for him. But yeah, no, that's kind of it on the NBA. I got nothing much for the Sixers. They're just kind of who they are. I mean, they'll battle for the top spot in the East. I think it's interesting. I think for them to win the division, which I know you have the conference and then divisions. I think the Sixers division is like Celtics, Sixers, Raptors, Knicks, Nets, and maybe the Wizards, something like that. But yeah, I think you get the Sixers at plus 500 to win that division. So it's basically them or the Celtics. And the Sixers have already beaten the Celtics. So I think there's a little bit of value in plus 500 to win that division. Not confident in them them beating out the Celtics. But look, plus 500 to win that division, and Celtics just lost to the Hornets in overtime. So anything can happen. So look out for Sixers to win that division plus 500. I think there's some great value there. Not going to say it will happen, but it's not that it won't happen.
But
But
value
yeah,
play. It's a value play.
yeah, value play exactly plus 500, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean that's kind of all we got for the NBA. Before I get into the NFL, I want to throw out one little nugget. I was not amped up on the Flyers this year. I thought they would be horrible, but we're about 20% through the season, and the Flyers are in a playoff spot. They're on a 5-game win streak, and they're looking like a wagon, an absolute wagon. I mean, they're knocking off top teams all over the place. I think they beat Vegas. They knocked off the Oilers. Some impressive victories for a team that wasn't expected to do anything. And knowing the Flyers, they will have that spell, usually late December, early January, where they just lose 12 games in a row. And it's like, so it's kind of like we're just waiting for it. It happens every year. They'll go on like a 12-game losing stretch, and then it'll be like, oh, well, there we go. But fun start to new life down there in South Philly. Obviously, the Flyers got a whole new, front office. Still the same owner, which that's a different story. But yeah, new front office and exciting to see. So I don't want to spend too much time on that, but I definitely want to highlight it because they are on a 5-game win streak. They're in a playoff spot, and they're looking relatively strong to start the year. So just felt like I needed to touch on that because, like I said, they're on a nice win streak. But yeah, rolling into the NFL, big Thursday slate. Yeah, I guess the games are okay. We'll kind of jump into the first one. Packers, Lions, obviously divisional matchup, so that brings some juice to it. But I'll just kind of let you take it away, Bri. What are you looking at here? Packers coming off a pretty big win against the Chargers, which I think at least Brian and I handed out on the pod. I know Jack was feeling Chargers there, which isn't a bad play. The Chargers obviously have a great offense, but I personally can't trust them, and they kind of showed why over the weekend. But yeah, Brian, what's your juice here for the Packers as they travel to Ford Field on Thanksgiving?
Yeah, the Chargers are terrible. But yeah, this is the Lions Thanksgiving game. It always has a special place in my heart. Our family eats Thanksgiving dinner around 4 o'clock, so this is the one I always get to watch the whole way through. I love the Lions here. They're gonna have the juice. They're finally good. There's gonna be a huge crowd on Thanksgiving. People go anyway when they're not good. 7.5 is a big spread, so I'll take them -6.5. But yeah, this team is good. I love the Lions. I proclaimed that they would be the 1 seed in the NFC in my anti-Eagles parlay last week. The Eagles took care of business in Kansas City, so I don't know how likely that is to happen anymore. But they're going to go to 9-2 here. Packers aren't very good. Jordan Love's not good, despite what the Chargers defense made them look like last week. Jack, what are you thinking here?
Yeah, I like the Lions as well. The Packers, I should have known better than to bet on the Chargers against the Packers last week. I mean, the Chargers can't beat anyone. They like to choke games like crazy. But I did say my reasoning was the Packers wouldn't be able to keep up offensively. It's gonna be my same reasoning for this game. Don't care. The Packers, they scored 23 points against the Chargers last week. I don't think they'll hit 23 points this week. I bet the Lions hit 30. So yeah, give me the Lions. Maybe I'm with you on the spread. Let's cut it down to 6.5. Just that 1 point is going to maybe make or break this, especially on a big spread. So give me Lions -6.5. And I also like Jameson Williams over 22.5 receiving yards. He only averages 2 catches a game, but both of them are well over 20 yards. So he catches one ball. He's hitting this over of 22.5. And I think that happens.
Yeah, I love the Jameson Williams shout out and play there. I think he scored last week as well on, pretty deep shot. So all his targets are usually down the field. So 20, I mean, he just pretty much has to catch 1 or 2 balls and that over is going to hit pretty easily. But yeah, I will, I still think the Lions are frauds. They should have lost that game on Sunday. I mean, they were down 2 scores with 2 minutes to go. The Bears are just the Bears. I mean, that's the only way you can sum that one up. But yeah, sure, they were able to pull it out. So I'll give them credit there. Disgusting that they're down 2 scores and pretty much trailing that whole game to the Bears. That was just I don't know what was going on. Didn't get Sam Laporta involved at all. So there's something to think about for this game, and that's the route I'm going to go. I will take Sam Laporta's over receiving yards. I don't know what his total receptions are, but I'll also take his over receptions here. And, it's Thanksgiving. I'll throw out 3 picks. I'll take the over 47.5 as Can I trust the Packers to get some points?
No, you cannot.
I probably can't. I'm going to stay away from the over. I was thinking it, feeling it, but I don't love the over there. So yeah, I'll go. I'll just stick to Sam Laporta. I think he bounces back and has a big week. I think the Lions find a way to get him involved because when they get him involved, they have success. And they didn't really get him involved. And granted, yeah, sure, they came back and won the game, but they didn't look good that entire game. So I'll say Sam Laporta over total receptions and over receiving yards. Think he has a big bounce back week, and it's Thanksgiving. It seems like tight ends should have a big day on Thanksgiving because they're the big boys. Show them some love. Give Laporta the big turkey leg after the game. I can't wait to see it. But yeah, that's some good stuff. I know you got a little nugget in there. Jack Harlow performing at halftime. Why? Not sure that was the decision or why they made a decision on that, but enjoy that, I guess. Moving on to the 4 o'clock game. Kind of a horrible one, I guess. Commanders travel to Dallas to take on the Cowboys, or the Cowgirls, as I like to call them. Yeah, I mean, Commanders plus 11. Brian's all on Sam Howell, top 10 quarterback in the league, which is a wild stat. But I'll just jump over to you, Brian, because I don't have much for this game. This seems like just a weird one that who knows what's going to happen. But what do you got here, man?
So Dolly Parton's doing the halftime for this game. So I'm gonna do no more songs. I'm gonna do a little 9-to-5 bet. I'm gonna take CeeDee Lamb to have 90 receiving yards and Brian Robinson to have 50 rushing yards. And I'm gonna call it the Dolly Parton 9-to-5.
The Dolly Parton 9-to-5. Interesting. Yeah, Jack, you kind of stepped away there, man. You didn't want to hear some Dolly Parton magic?
No, I thought Hauck was going to go on another first song odds there. And I said, all right, let me just go take a second, walk around the room for a sec. Tried to find a knife, couldn't, but let's move on. No, I like the NFC East. It's always been a fun division to watch. The Eagles, the Cowboys, Commanders, Giants. They're good teams. They always have had deep rivalries, and I think an 11-point spread in this division is kind of rough if you're not the Giants right now. So I'm not going to take the Cowboys minus 11, but give me some overs on some of those Cowboys players. They're at home. It's Thanksgiving. If they have the opportunity, they will run up the score. So Lamb to go over 90 yards, cash it. What else do we got here? Brandon Cooks to go over 34.5, cash it. That's what I'm going.
I think they could
some Cowboy player prop overs.
Yeah, I think they could definitely have their way here. I think I stayed away from taking the Cowboy. Yeah, I had like CeeDee Lamb over receiving yards last week. That didn't hit, but yeah, I mean, it seems like the Cowboys kind of beat up on bad teams. That's like a pretty big spread though for a divisional matchup, especially on Thanksgiving. So I don't have any crazy plays here, but if I did have to take one, I'll double down on CeeDee Lamb and take him over receiving yards. And I think I'll just stick to there. I'm not going to throw out a bunch of plays, but I like CeeDee Lamb to get going a little bit, and he should be able to hit his over. I think they'll go to him early and often, and that Commanders defense is not competent enough to stop him. So at least I'm not confident in it. And maybe they have just a magical day, which is highly unlikely. So give me CeeDee Lamb over receiving yards, and that's kind of enough for that game. But rolling in probably the best game on the slate, right? Niners traveling to Seattle. The Niners 6-point favorites. This is a tough one, man. I mean, Seattle coming off that brutal loss cost me a good bit of money in my parlay as well. So I know I've been a big Pete Carroll guy, but kind of got a bone to pick with him and the Seattle Seahawks as they cost me a bit of money. I know these guys don't care about my parlays, but I care about my parlays, and they freaking costed me there. So annoying. Yeah, it seems like another game where McCaffrey's probably going to get in the end zone. So I'll take him to get in the end zone. It's an easy bet to take. So I'll go McCaffrey in the end zone. I think DK probably has a decent day. Is Geno Smith playing? Do we have confirmation on that?
Pete Carroll said he will play.
So it's a 50-50, or is that like because
It depends how much you trust Pete Carroll.
I don't
say Geno's a tough dude, so he's gonna do everything he possibly can to be out there. But we've seen this before earlier in the season. Geno gets hurt, gets back. Drew Lock comes in for a little while. Geno gets back out there. Geno tries to start the next week. Maybe he gets hurt, gets banged up early in the game. Drew Lock's got to come in. So Geno's gonna do everything he can to play, but at the end of the day, it's just I don't trust the durability there, especially against the Niners defense.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, but I think they're gonna have to lean on Metcalf. So I'll take his over receiving yards. I know that's going to be tough for him to get, but we need to play. It's going to be Thanksgiving night, and the Seahawks are going to have to pass the ball. So why not go to your best receiver? So I'll take him over, and then I think McCaffrey probably finds the end zone as well. So I'll roll with that. And then Jack, did you throw a pick out in there? I might have missed it.
So my pick in this one is actually going to be Ayuk over 64.5 receiving yards. He's been an animal this season, and I'm just going to keep on riding him. So 64.5 receiving yards is pretty low in my opinion. He only needs 3-4 catches to get that. It seems like every time he's catching the ball, it's 15-20 yards down the field. So that's going to be my official play. And then also on top of that, I like the Niners a lot in this game, honestly. I know it's a divisional game. 6.5, maybe not. Maybe I'll chop that down to honestly, maybe even just 5.5. Yeah, I think I like the Niners 5.5 and Ayuk over 64.5 receiving yards.
So yeah, for these 8:20 games on Thanksgiving, I think I have slept through the first half in the last 4, just from a turkey coma. So because of that, I'm going to take the first half under.
I like it.
First half under. Glad we came back to you for that. First half under.
I'm gonna bet it. I like it.
Yeah, I actually don't. I don't hate that. I just had to throw that out there. But yeah, no, it's probably not a horrible divisional matchup. Honestly, the Seahawks offense might struggle a lot in this, especially with Geno Smith. Dealing with some injury issues. But yeah, first half under. Do you know what the line is for the first half under?
Nope.
No idea. Whatever it is, Brian's hammering it.
I'll be asleep, so it's hitting.
Now we're ready for some Black Friday football. Jeff Bezos couldn't get any action in on Thursday, Thanksgiving. NFL shut that down, so he went the next best route and said he'll take some Black Friday football, still control a day of the week. And, we get the Dolphins traveling to JetLife to take on the Jets. So interesting matchup there. The Jets look hopeless, lifeless. If they lose this game, there's probably no reason to rush Aaron Rodgers back at all. They're probably not making the playoffs. And even if they do somehow win this game, it's still like there's a long road ahead of them to try and wiggle their way into the playoff picture. But yeah, I'll jump over to you, Jack. What do you got for this game?
Yeah, last week I said that there's no reason the Bills should be a 7-point favorite against the Jets with the way that they were playing. And I said that the only way that they do cover that 7-point spread is if the Jets give up. Well, the Jets gave up. They have absolutely lost faith in Zach Wilson. They're trotting out Tim Boyle, who's I was looking at some of his stats from college and through his NFL games, to this point. I'm pretty sure the dude's never won a game in his life. I have zero idea why he's in the NFL. I would much rather have Joe Flacco, who I think just got signed by another team. The Jets should have never let him go, something I never thought I would say. This team is bad. They are really struggling for a quarterback. Still, remember a couple years ago when the Jets fucked around, won a game late in the season, and gave the Jags the number 1 overall pick for Trevor Lawrence. Could you imagine Trevor Lawrence on this Jets team? They would be Super Bowl. They would be a Super Bowl team. So, yeah, no, I don't really have much to say on this game. The Jets have given up at this point. They need to figure it out, get Aaron Rodgers healthy, and just come back next year.
For sure. Definitely agree. What do you guys got for picks?
Jack, you want to give a pick after all that?
All right, there's no props here, and I'm not taking a Dolphins -10.
Tim Boyle under?
Fuck it. Give me the Tim Boyle under, baby. Whatever. Give me all the Tim Boyle under. All of it.
Yards,
Give me under
rushing.
150 passing yards is probably the line. Give me the under.
Yeah, so I'm convinced after this game, Jeff Bezos is going to come out and say Tim Boyle was an AI created by Amazon. But I don't think the Jets are any good. Like you said, they've given up. Their O-line stinks. Even when Zach Wilson is trying to be good, he can't even have time to throw the ball. Can't imagine how much better Tim Boyle is going to be back there. So I will take the Dolphins -10.
It's an interesting play. I got to stick with what's hot, right? Tyreek Hill over receptions, probably going to hit. He's been whatever. It's always been like 6.5 or 7.5, and he's like catching 10 passes a game. So got to keep rolling with the hot hand on that one. That one's been pretty consistently hitting. So hopefully we see him, hit that over. And I'll also take a stab on Tua over passing yards. I think, he airs it out and, just flinging the ball all over the field. I think he will, he'll do some damage. I know the Jets defense is somewhat competent, but I think we'll see Tyreek Hill go off, Jalen Waddle go off, the Dolphins offense go off. And so give me Tua's over on passing yards. And I will also take Tyreek Hill over his receptions. That'll probably hit with ease, as it always does. But yeah, that's what we got for the midweek show. I told you to be a packed episode, and it was a packed episode. We hope everybody has an absolutely electric, awesome Thanksgiving. And that kind of rolls into my next point before we wrap it up. Jack, Brian, we'll start with Jack. What do you guys got for Thanksgiving, man? Anything fun planned?
Yeah, I'm gonna be heading out to Atlanta on Thanksgiving, making that drive, meeting up with the family, mom, dad, brother, sister, some cousins that live down there. So that'll be a good time. And then Friday, we'll pack it up from Atlanta and drive down to Auburn, Alabama, go watch Auburn win the Iron Bowl against Bama on Saturday, and then come back up to Charleston on Sunday, wrap up my Thanksgiving weekend. Action packed, but I'm gonna be up in Jordan Hare screaming my ass off, seeing more damn Eagles. So I'm looking forward to that.
That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. I hope I'll root for Auburn this weekend. I'm not confident they'll win, but it'd be awesome to see the fans get some kind of enjoyment out of, I guess, what was a little bit of a rougher season. So love to see if they can get the fans to storm the field and send Nick Saban home crying. But Brian, what do you got for the weekend, man?
Yeah, rougher season is a nice way of putting how Auburn's football season has gone.
I try to be nice.
But yeah, I'm not going to the Iron Bowl. It's not that much fun of a weekend for me, but I am going home, headed up tomorrow to good old New Hope, Pennsylvania. And then gonna see the family. See them on Thanksgiving, probably avoid some people for a little bit to watch some football, but have a good old Thanksgiving football game with my little cousins, drink some wine, have a good time, and just get to see the family and chill out.
Yeah, sounds like an electric weekend. I'll be jumping up to New York to visit some family, see the grandparents, spend a nice holiday day there. And then other than that, do want to say we have some trivia coming out on Thanksgiving. So look out for that. Thanksgiving Day, we'll drop a little trivia. We did record that. We might have been horrible, but you guys let us know how we did. So we'll have some trivia dropping on Thanksgiving for you guys, little special there. And I really just want to say, keep following, supporting, doing what you guys can do to show your love. We appreciate everybody who kind of follows along on this journey. We're about 2 months old here. We don't know what we're doing with this, but we're just a couple guys up in section 400 having fun, talking sports, and really just like I said, having a good time with it. So we appreciate any support.
But yeah, like Matt said, I just want to say we're very thankful for everyone that has supported us on this journey so far. We're about 2 months into it now. It'll be 3 months after December, and then we have a lot of fun stuff planned on the new year. So please just stay tuned for that. Enjoy the ride. We're on Spotify, Apple Music, all the platforms now. You can find those links below. Rate us 5 stars, like, follow, download the podcast, undownload the podcast, download it again. It all helps. And yeah, no, that's pretty much all I have for now. But yeah, like I said, stay tuned because we got some fun stuff ahead.
A happy holiday season from Views from Section 400, and stay tuned because we have some exciting stuff planned. It's in the works. I don't want to release too much, but we will have some crazy stuff planned as we roll to the end of the year and pop off the new year with a bang. So I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. All the support, whether you like us, don't like us, every engagement matters. And we really just appreciate everybody following along in this, short journey so far, but we're hoping that it's a long journey. So like I said, that's all I got. Go Eagles.
Auburn's going to win the football game.
Fuck Bama, War Damn Eagle. I'm thankful for all y'all. Go hug your mom.